BD5 Pilot with you at the Hillsboro hangar on a Sunday morning, and things are looking different than they've looked in a long time. That workbench has been my jig for the wiring harness, and now I just have to clean off the all the marks I put on there. But here's the other thing: they're disconnected. These things will move now, and in fact, when I step on the little, I get this thing, step on the little feet and get them standing up on their own. There's one foot. Let's see if we can get the other one. I liked these because these were one hand basic operation. Now I've got all the off balance like this thing always ends up. Hope you didn't get too dizzy with that, but now this is a real nice roll around bench. And that's going to come in handy because as I get to work on here, you see I got the screws last night and finished up that BNC pass-through, but I've also got all of the little access panels reinstalled. So we're isolated from the gear well. We're isolated from those cable pulls for the fuel shutoffs now, and ready to go to work putting the wing on. So I'm giving the battery a good charge. We're going to get the wing installed, and then we're going to see just what happens when I hook up the ground on that battery. It's been a while since this hangar has been this clean, but I'll tell you, making those roll around jacks for the plane and that wing dolly have been two of the best uses of my time I've ever had, allowing me to position these for easy cleaning, easy working, and setting the plane in the right position. Now we're going to position the plane with that box and then a pad so that I can rest the wing on it, and we're about to install a wing. All right, you'd look at this positioning and you might think, I've done this before. And you'd be right, I have. I've done this before. We're getting about ready to do it again, and I'm gonna see if I can get a vantage point. Set up my camera on a tripod and then turn this into one of those fast motion videos. Yeah, something back here probably will work. So we'll get that set up. Now let's go over some critical elements to doing this right. Position of that main wing so that we get it balanced on those blankets. We have the position lined up about right to where if I was looking down that spar, it'd be at about the right height. We can adjust the height if we need to on the aircraft, or we can move the blanket, especially as soon as I get the end started. Now, Brian Ingram secret, having that STP oil treatment to put on that tube keeps things nice and easy to work with, and it doesn't tend to harden and give you the trouble that the lanolin will do. Now, in my case, with what I've got to do, we've got to first get that positioned and get those plugs all plugged in to make sure they're pushing back through that spar without binding up or giving us any trouble. Notice I already have the little rack on there that's for tugging the wing in, and I've got that held in place with a stainless steel hose clamp, and that keeps that in its pin. That has a tendency to want to pop out of that pin, and if you're not watching what you're doing, you'll push that pin right through the gas tank, which is not good. I've already had to repair that. The prior owner had done that on this plane. That's going to be the rack where that pinion ends up, right down in there. As we're pulling that wing on, this area here, this is the killer item. That little pin right there, one of them has to align with the part of the flap, but the other one goes into a bushing. That bushing has to be there, and it is. That bushing is there. This will kill you if you don't get that positioned correctly. And the aileron is going to just have to be in the correct position. This is the one that moves the aileron, and the flap gets actuated from the other controller. So we're about ready to move the wing. onto there, and then we'll balance it. And I'll probably leave the video slow at the beginning here to show hooking these pieces up, and then when I do the other side, I'll just set it up on the tripod and do it quick. All right, that wing is off the dolly, balanced, and about ready to work on this end, getting those things plugged in. I've got that STP on. I'm going to get this wing dolly out of the way though, so we're not dealing with anything in our way as we're pushing this on or aligning things. All right, everything is plugged in. Everything is tight. I verified it won't suck out. I'm going to be very careful about how we get this initial part on so that we don't catch anything. And so that first part of entering the wing onto the spar is going to be very critical. And there, position and alignment is good. We didn't catch anything that we didn't want to. And we're ready to start pushing that wing on and making sure that rack and pinion lines up correctly. You can see everything has been going well so far. And I've got that rack and pinion lining up. So I got to push on a little more. Now I've got to start paying attention to the alignment for that aileron for the flaps as well as we get closer. You can now see that rack and pinion is engaged, so I can start using that to pull the wing on. Once again, this is what I have to pay really close attention to now as I get that on. And you'll see this is just a slow, incremental process. You pull a little bit, you'll check your alignment, pull just a little bit more, and get nervous. All right, we've got the aileron lining up, but we got to climb underneath and take a look at how those pins are doing for the flap now. And there you can see I'm close. Wing height have to come down just a tiny bit. And this other pin is lining up for the actuation of the flaps, but that little guy we've got to make sure we get correct. All right, we've got that pin looking real nicely aligned, and at this stage I can actually stay here and watch that as I reach across the top of the wing and pull that in. I've got the weight supported smoothly, that blanket, so we'll just continue pulling on this. It's almost in. All right, we've got a real good seat on that flat pin. Now I just got to get up and check where the alignment hole is up on top to see if we're done or we have a little bit more to go pulling this in. And need the light. See if I can get the light to work. Looks like I got just a little bit more to go, and we've got the wing on. All right, I've pulled the support out. Wing is on. Let's go test control inputs. Make sure that aileron moves through its full range. Looks like it does. How about the flaps? And just like normal, they don't want to reset fully, which has me a little concerned with the cable wants to come off. But a little bit of use, a little bit of silicone, and the air pressure I'd have as I land will also help with that situation. All right, we have the left wing ready for mounting in position. And I'm going to set this up on that tripod, see how it looks, see if I can take a fast motion of this. If it doesn't work out, we'll just do the walkthrough like I did with the wing already. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever done that before, but hopefully that shows up well in the video and doesn't take up too much of your afternoon. And of course, just like we did for the other side, are our controls free and clear. And I got something clicking on that side. Flaps sticky too. So let's go see what's wanting to catch. Right there. Right here. I think I got this compressed just a little bit, putting this on the plane, and hopefully, yeah, a little bit of use. Yeah, that'll come back into position. And it was just that initial position. Once it rested in, not any problems, but obviously I want to make sure I don't have anything binding control surfaces. First degree flaps, landing flaps. A lot of times if you take these up quick, they'll snap up, but it'll take a few uses to get them back to where they're used to being operated, and they snap back up quick. All right, well, you should actually know what I'm looking forward to. Now that everything is hooked up, I'm going to attach that ground wire. We're going to plug the VPX into my laptop, and let's go see if we can get the configuration file going. And before I touch anything, I make absolutely sure every one of these switches is in their off position. No mishaps. All right, that ground is attached. Everything else is attached. Everything else is plugged in. And so I'm about to hit that power button and see what happens. All right, master power is now on. Now, is it doing anything? I don't know whether there's lights on the PPS. Tell us what's happening. No, look at that. There's the Garmin already powering up. Oh my goodness. Can you believe that? All right, let's go in and get the program going for the VPX. So we're going to connect using the Ethernet. And there we go. It's connecting, it's checking the installed firmware, it's downloading the configuration. Holy smokes. I'm so excited now I can't even speak. All right, now, all right, there's all my configuration. Wing lag wasn't set. We don't have pitch trim, we don't have flags. We have all these devices hooked up. All right, let's go back to here. Let's hit the update button. All right, everything should be updated. Now, do we have switches? There's all our circuits. There's all our system configuration. Don't have an alternator. And our EVIS, it says, is on. All right, let's go see what happens when we hit a few switches on things. There, that's just freaking me out that that's in. But let's go see what happens when I hit. Let's turn on our nav lights and see if they light up. I don't see anything happening. Let's turn on our beacon. Our beacon should be lighting up underneath, but nothing's happening. All right, I gotta go. Gotta go get into this and figure it out. Well, this time it's working, and I can control some things, but not all things. So, I'll be digging into some of this and finding out why some things work, why some things don't. So, for instance, I can turn on my nav lights, and you can see Yeah, nav lights turn on. I can turn on my beacon, and we've got a beacon working. When I try to get strobes, all I get is still that beacon. I don't see a change there. I can turn on taxi lights, nothing happens. I can turn on landing lights turn on. The taxi lights don't. Curiouser and curiouser. So, yeah, I'll be off to digging into why. I don't know whether that needs to be on. Makes no difference. And my thought is, since it's both sides, it's something up here, or where they connect and tied in together. But I'm going to first dig into these switches and see if they're getting the correct signals like they're supposed to. And it looks like I just hadn't run that config yet. So we're doing the config as a restore settings. And of course, it's telling me I've got a current fault at the DCW. My recognition says it has a short circuit. An error occurred. Turn off, and then turn back on, and press OK again. I'll do that. Well, I've got the serial numbers, the numbers I need off of the G3X, so I can go home, look up the updated software that I need to update all of these units to, and then look over the manual too to see there's a whole bunch of configuration pages that I now have to initialize and set up to where the unit recognizes all of these other units I've got in the plane. But I was really surprised the configuration module that Garmin had sent already had a whole bunch of information on my plane in it. It was amazing to see. So thanks Dewey Conroy at Pacific Coast Avionics and Garmin. Really impressive. Avionics has just come so far since I learned how to fly. BD5 Pilot is out for right now, and I'll be back next weekend as I dig into more of this electrical and getting the software all programmed.